All right, everybody, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. It's Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That means we are in and we're getting started with the live stream. So we talk about personal growth, we talk about the stars, we talk about the planetary shifts, we talk about awareness, awakening, and healing. So stay tuned. We'll let people get on. I'm going to check in on the chat over here. And if you're on Instagram, of course, I can see the chat right in front of me. So bear with me. And so we're talking about how to make sense of your symptoms and start living your best life. That's part of Transformation Tuesday, where we talk about personal growth. We talk about all things how we're shifting, all things consciousness. So if you have a particular question, let me know. And first and foremost, how am I sounding? Am I coming through okay? And I'm checking in on a couple different microphones. Boy, if you thought about doing some internet business, well, you know what? You got to wake up to a few things, and I had no idea. But as they say, sometimes it's better not to know. And I can't get this plugged in behind me, so we're just gonna put it right in front, and that's the way that goes. So how am I sounding? Where are you in the world? Let me know. I'm here near Philadelphia, but on the Jersey side, I'm in New Jersey. And if you know anything about New Jersey, boy, this place is on fire. And I don't mean like Australia, and I apologize. And let's send some good vibes to Australia. Let's feel the wetness. Let's feel the rain. Let's feel the relief that hopefully can come there soon enough. And I'm not gonna talk too much more about that. I have a lot of inside information and lots of insights. So thank you, lovely Kay. You're awesome, beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. So if you have a question about consciousness, you have a question about physical pain, if you have a question about life pains, I'm helping people decode it so they can live their greatest life. And why am I doing this? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I've seen it in my life, and I am building a vision. What's up, Florida, in the house? And as I build my vision, I can see the steps that I took to bring it about. Yes, I study law of attraction. Yes, I study natural law. Yes, I study consciousness. I study the human body, acupuncture meridians, chakras, auras, nutrients, toxins, spinal alignment. I'm a board certified chiropractic physician. I'm a herbalist, a multi-different level Reiki master. I study different quantum healing techniques. And my mission now is to share the good news of what I've found. I share the good news of how there is truth available for you, yet it's been hidden from you. So hopefully you're waking up to that. And let's see who else we got here. We got Massachusetts in the house. Thank you, Massachusetts. Good to hear from you. And yes, lots of healing going on. So let's get a general recap. I normally don't do this, but I do talk about how the stars and the planets and their alignments affect the human body, and they affect the weather, they affect consciousness, and they affect modes of thinking in our society as a whole. And this is well known, yet it's been hidden from most. And the people that run this world will say, understand these patterns and cycles of life. So let's talk about cycles for a moment. But the main topic, if you're tuning in, is about a topic, something I call right-useness. And so right-useness has a lot to do with the thoughts and motives we have and our own intentions, the feelings or emotions we experience regarding our actions and behaviors, and basically how we go about living our life. And if we are out of balance with natural law, with the laws, and I don't mean like the law where you need to stop at the stop sign. That's a man-made law, a human-made law, if you may call it that. What I'm talking about is like gravity, is like karma, laws of cause and effect, the law of sowing a seed. This is the type of things I'm referring to here. So bear with me. We're getting a few more people online. Let me check the chat on the live stream side of things. See anyone's asking any questions over there. And while we're all here, let's take a little sip. Hopefully you got your brains on. It's backwards. You can't see where you're coming from, but everybody else can see. You got your genius cap on. I hope so, because we need to use our brains in different ways. And what we've been commonly taught in our society, in our schools, even our parents, with their greatest intentions. Well, they're human too. And pardon me while I pour a little water. And I got my genius cap and cup on. All right, so do you notice a change after Reiki sessions? I have never done it before. So that's a good question. Yes, you can notice a change. You can notice it in the moment as well, depending on the practitioner, so choose wisely. And with that being said, Reiki is a level of energy healing. It's not the, doesn't encompass all levels of energy healing. So, moving forward, I'm wondering how your life has been over the past couple days. The reason I'm saying that is just like when there's a storm happening outside, everyone has to respond. If there's a big hurricane coming, everyone battens down the hatches, everybody boards up the windows, buys extra food, and if it's really bad, well, they go and they change location and get out of the area. Well, we've been having some storms. We're having a cycle, and in fact, a number of cycles coming to a close and launching anew. And so I'm not going to pull up any type of charts or any type of astro reports or anything of this nature. And there's multiple systems that I like to look at and use. However, with that being said, all the systems are talking about this weekend. In fact, one of my favorite readers out there, his name's Leo King, and look him up. I like his stuff. He goes into phenomenal detail. David Palmer, the Leo King. He goes into phenomenal detail of the cycles and the patterns in which we're currently in. And of course, the moon has a 30-day cycle. The sun has a 1-year cycle. There's other cycles for each planet. Now, that being said, we've had this really amazing lunar eclipse happening. We have a big situation happening that just happened on Saturday and on Sunday and on Monday, and here we are. We're on the other side of that today on Tuesday, and it's like the new world has arrived. For the newness to begin to arrive more and more, we have some challenges still ahead of us. Well, of course, we have to shed the old, shed what's not working in our life, shedding what is destructive in our life, and this is at a couple layers. This is at how we see ourselves. This is how we are working with our relationships, and that includes friendships, includes your neighbor, it includes romantic partners, it includes business relationships, professional relationships, and of course, any relationship you can come up with. This means to even people you don't know. So we've had a closing off of a 30-day cycle, a year cycle, a 12-year cycle. So from 2008 to now, there's been something, you've been experiencing something in your life. And there's even a 37-year cycle, and this has been hugely impactful for people. It's the 37-year cycle coming to a close. And on that bigger esoteric level, we've also closed out a 500-year cycle. And even more so, now the exact number I don't have in front of me. I believe there's a component related to 2,000 years ago. I think a little bit longer, closer to 2,100 years ago. But somewhere in that range. Now, that being said, what does that mean for you and me? Well, I've been working with people all day today and hearing their stories of what happened over the past week. And I know my personal story, what happened over the last week. And so things from your past were coming to you, whether it was attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and perceptions, or some type of life scenario or experience. Something from your past was coming to a big time experience, a big time head, a big time front in your life, and you had to deal with it. You had to handle it. Now, either you got sucked right back into it, or you were able to drop it, regardless of what it is and how it was dropped. You were able to drop it or forgive it or let it go or be at peace with it, and it let go. And now we're having the after effects of the transition, of the transformation, and we're moving towards our greatest life potential. And you've been getting peppered with opportunities and insights about what that is. Yet, if you haven't been doing any personal growth work, if you haven't been doing any life intentions, if you've been only sucked into drama and television shows and Instagram and Facebook, whatever those things are, if you haven't done anything, and by the way, if you're watching this and you're texting me right now, please don't. Please don't. If you haven't made these transitions, if you haven't been doing the work, well, then you're in for a rough ride. And this rough ride is going to continue this week, and it's going to get real rough this week if you haven't been doing the personal growth, if you haven't been doing the the clearing out of things that are no longer serving you. If you haven't been doing any investigative work in your own life, and I don't know where these beeps are coming from, so I do know where they're coming from, and so you know who you are. Please stop texting me. I'm pretty sure you're watching right now. Anyway, so we're talking about rightuse. So I'm going to bring this up for everybody else at home, and we are on page 40 of the book, To Code Your Pain. Now, if you're on Instagram, you're seeing that backwards, and we're on page 40, which is chapter 3, and the chapter heading is called Intention and Rightuse. Now, I flipped open to page 40, and the concept of rightuse is a very interesting one. Basically, it's how you go about living your life. Now, we all have targets, we all have desires in life, but how do we go about getting those desires? How do we go about achieving them? Do we step on people? Do we backstab people? Do we undercut others? Do we do those type of actions, those type of activities to get ahead? Or are we nurturing others? Are we doing a little bit more than asked for? Are we looking to help ourselves and others? Are we going about it in an ethical and moral way? If not, well, then you're going to be doomed to repeat. I'm going to ask everyone to take a pause. I need to message somebody because this is not ending, and I haven't been able to figure out how to turn off all the beeps without shutting down everything. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, that's handled. We'll see if they listen. I hope they are. And yes, we got the thumbs up, and there's more beeps. So you're hearing it everywhere. Oh my goodness, here we are. Thank you. And so back where was I? Rightuse. So we're witnessing rightuse right now. All right. So my energy inside, and I have to be open and honest with you because that's the only way moving forward. Is I was getting a little angst, getting upset with the person who was texting me, and the person who texted me, it seems to be the last 3 times I've been on live continues to do the same thing. Now, this person is invested in everything I do, and they love what I offer them. So there's only intention of goodness, and she's wanting an information to help somebody, to be honest, to share that with you. And with that being said, what I'm feeling inside me was annoyed. And then so if I go about, thank you, St. Pierre. So if I go about and I message her and I'm feeling this annoyed feeling, well, what's behind that message? Being annoyed. Now, vibrationally, there's going to be a sense that she would pick up. And then, I'll ask her later, and maybe she's even watching this right now. So we'll get some feedback soon enough. And so what needs to occur if I'm being of the utmost aware is before I send that message is I bring myself back to peace. I know she's just looking for help and information. Yes, I got something going on. However, I didn't take the time to prepare. Well, I did prepare. I've been seeing patients all day, and I got a little bit delayed with handling something with the last client, and so I got a little late start and setting everything up, and I didn't get a chance to restart my computer and blah, 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 blah. All these wonderful things. So I can let that get to me, and then I could respond to her in annoyance, or I could find a place of peace knowing that she's just wanting information, calm myself down, and then send that text. Now, there's a different vibrational pattern that comes out with that communication. It's very, very deep stuff. So I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, if I've gone a little too deep, a little too fast. However, I hope you're ready for the advanced course, because if you're here now, there's some synchronicity there, and there's something perfect and beautiful in it. So there's a message here for you. So I'm hoping that you're hearing it. I pray for you to have the eyes to hear and the ears to hear and the eyes to see. Because getting the truth from this world is difficult. And so this is where we start to rely on divine intervention, divine insight. And so Boy, I'm getting ahead of myself, but blessings. Thank you for being here. So I'm gonna take Instagram. I'm gonna show you what I got going on here, and everybody else can already see it. And I'm gonna read it a little bit more in depth here. So let's take a look. There are 3 components to the practice of rightuse. Okay, so rightuse is really how we go about living our life. Now, we have the thoughts and motives behind our intentions. We have the feelings and emotions we experience regarding our intentions. So let's say I have a financial target that I want to earn every month. Now, I can think about going to a bank and stealing money. I can think about robbing somebody. I can think about acquiring things illegally. Or I can think about, what can I produce that provides value to others? Boy, there's a whole different feeling on the inside with your own heart when you begin to comprehend that. When you begin to investigate those feelings with each thought process. And this is where the rubber meets the road. How are your feelings in relationship to the thoughts that you're experiencing? If there's angst and challenge there, if there's upsetness, if there's fire, if there's an emotional outburst with those thoughts, well, then you have some healing to do. There's some healing that needs to be done. And then the final component right here, step number 3, the final component, the actions we take in attempts to realize your intention. Right? So in our world, a crime does not become a crime until the action is taken. Now we can and people can get in trouble for thinking, and this is what we hear about premeditated, whatever that is, or planning or conspiracy, right? There was a plot, an actual thought out process to commit a wrongdoing to someone or something, versus a self-defense action. So if I take an action to earn money and I go about it in a wrongful, unethical, immoral, illegal way, well, then there's going to be something that comes back to me. Now, this sounds very basic. However, when we start getting into the nuances of getting what we want with our relationships, with our friendships, with our romantic partners, with our business partners, this becomes a very interesting topic. And this is where we have to play psychologist with ourselves, if we want to know and investigate what those things and meanings and those words are. But at the same time, there's a simple way where we don't have to go deep into our investigation, but we need to have some awareness. And sometimes to get to that level of awareness, we have to calm our emotions down, because when we have a high emotional state, we can't think as clearly as when we're in a calm place. So there's a technique. It's called the FAST technique. And I'm going to flash that for everybody. And so let's take a look here. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to pull up something called the FAST technique. Now, this comes from something that it's called neuro-emotional technique. All right. And this has become a little more famous recently. We see it in some television shows. We see it with in the high-end sports and athletes. However, I'm sharing it with people that have head traumas and PTSD and a number of other emotional challenges in their life from traumas. So it is extremely, extremely effective. I had an experience personally this weekend where some really tragic information came about. And boy, if I didn't use this, it would have been bad news. And it helped me decrease the emotional intensity significantly in just a few moments, which allowed me to stay calm, which allowed me to make better decisions, which then provided me answers. And then after I had those answers, it was like life became free again. It was fantastic. So let me show everybody on the live stream, get this centered over here. It's called the Fast 8 Stress Tool. It is used to help relieve symptoms. And you know what, Instagram, I can't show you right now. So at this point, if you want to see it, send me a direct message, and I'll send you the link to, this is on Facebook, this is on YouTube, this is on Periscope right now. There's 2 places on Facebook that's happening, and it's also happening. It will be happening on LinkedIn later. So anyway, the first aid stress tool can be used to help relieve symptoms associated with many different kinds of stress that offers immediate relief. Now, this is not intended to replace, and this is a legal thing. This is illegal to cover my own butt, and I am saddened by the requirement of this legal thing, because what it does is it cuts out a lot of actual, true, authentic information. But I'll say it anyway. This is not intended to replace a consultation, diagnosis, or treatment from a healthcare or medical professional. And all that, I am a healthcare professional. So what we're doing is we're using the acupuncture system, and we're using it to our advantage. And so what you're seeing on the live chat is the points that you connect to. So on Instagram, let me show you. You have your pulse points, right where you take your pulse, right on the thumb side. That was so funny. Right on the thumb side here of the wrist. And you put your hand, you wrap around, you put all your fingers right on that pulse point area, and then you take the flat hand and you put it right on the middle of the forehead, the palm right on the middle of the forehead. And so the key, in my personal opinion, is step A, identify the issue that's bothering you. So sense that feeling, sense that emotion, hear that thought that's related to what you're experiencing. And then you're going to wrap your hand around your wrist, you're going to place your hand on your forehead, and you're going to gently contact that. And you're going to breathe in deeply through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, you're going to do this a few times until you feel that energy of that emotion, that energy of that negative thought, or that feeling, whatever that is. You're going to feel it drop. You're going to feel it dissipate. You're going to feel it calm down. You then switch hands and repeat using the breath fully in. Hold for a count of 1, 2, 3, or 4. Breathe out. Let it come out nice and easy. And you're going to repeat that until that energy, that emotion, that experience gets calm again. The website for this technique is firstaidstresstool.com. Firstaidstresstool.com. You use it as long and as frequent as you need to. Now it talks about some other things to do with the remedy, with some other things from neuroemotional technique. But the point being is to put your hands on the pulse points, put the other hand on the forehead, and you breathe until you calm down. It's good for children, it's good for adults, it's good for anyone in any situation. And it really brings you back down to peace. I use it, like I said, I've been sharing this with patients all year. It was shared with me about a year ago. I use it for my own personal growth, my own health, my own mindset, which allow me, in the midst of challenge, in the midst of overwhelm, to bring back the calm. Now, why am I talking about overwhelm and calm? Because many people experienced their past bubbling up to the surface all week last week. Situations coming to a head on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even today, Monday. And if you haven't been doing the personal growth required in your life to move towards your greatest life, there was some pretty tough drama going on in people's lives this week. And I want to pass along help. The reason I'm doing that is for the rising tide principle. See, when I help others, it helps more. It's like when you open a door and you're nice to somebody, that person smiles back. And chances are they're going to do something positive for somebody in the future. It is legit. It's extremely legit. I'm not joking. Look, I'm a healthcare professional. I do this, and I'm a specialist in my field. There's all kinds of mental, emotional hacks that are out there. And I don't call them hacks. These are actually researched and documented tools that the military uses, the high-end athletes use, and I use it to help people that have had tremendous trauma in their life. How did I come about this information? Because I've had tremendous trauma in my life. And everything I do in my life, I've used on myself. And it works. It works. You feed the body with what it needs. You've released the body with what it doesn't need. Now, there's a nice conversation to be had. There's a lot more nuance than that. However, when you do that, the automatic result is improvement, rejuvenation, regeneration, positivity. See, if you cut your hand, your job is to keep the dirt out. In a couple days, it heals. Think about it. Now, the worse the cut, maybe there's a scar. If it's a bad cut, it could be a scar. But it heals, doesn't it? Now, there's a point of limitation here. You cut off my hand, and I'm not going to grow back a new hand. However, there's mammals that do. So that being said, you have to consider for yourself, do you agree or disagree that if you cut your hand and then you kept it clean and did a good job there, it would heal? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Type yes or no. If you, well, I'll keep that statement quiet. So if you do agree, then let's move forward, okay? There's a system of your body that coordinates all the communication. Your brain and spinal cord, your nervous system communicates all information at the most foundational basic level. Now, we also have hormonal communication. There's some other interesting quantum level communication going on. But however, in our physical life, in our physical structure, our central nervous system, our brain and spinal cord are the basic foundational communication networks. If you can agree upon that, then what we need to do is focus on feeding the right nutrients to the body to help that nervous system communicate. But the nervous system isn't alone. It works with your digestive system. It works with your immune system. It works with your all the other 9 other systems. There's 12 systems in total. Digestive system, evacuation system, integumentary system, skeletal muscle system, cardiovascular system. And there's probably a couple more that I'm just neglecting to say right now. So with that being said, when we have all this communication going on, our body's handling it well, and we're feeding it well, and we keep all the poison and toxin out, the body heals. And think about it. Even if someone has a major surgery, they go to the post-op, they're in recovery, right? The surgeon says, everything was a success, now we have to let nature take its course. Or, now we have to let the body rest. Now we have to let you do your thing. Whatever that statement is, what they're really saying is, now we have to let the body heal itself. We've patched it up where normally people would be dead from the type of injuries you sustained, but because we patched you up, we have enough technology, we have enough advances in sciences. Now we performed the surgery, performed the life-saving procedures. Now we have to let the rest of your body take over. Nature, your nature, let the healing forces happen. Now, you may also recognize that some people heal faster than others. Well, there's reasons for that. We have to feed your body the nutrition that it requires to operate. And it's hard to get that in our food today because our soil system has been polluted. It's been nutritionally decreased. And I have an opinion purposefully. But with that being said, it's hard to even get real food in our life anymore. Even if you're eating 100% organic, it's not the same organic that it was 50, 60, 70 years ago. There's all kinds of information about that. We are mind, body, spirit, and soul. Here's my genius cup. Let's get some water. That'd be smart, right? So we started this conversation about intention and right useness. And right useness specifically. So how I go about relating this information, how I go about attaining the target, the goal, the desire I want to hold on to. Well, there's some things behind it. So if you're getting results in life that you're not happy about, if you're getting reactions from people, if you're getting crappy life circumstances in your life, well, there's a cause to that from before. It's not what you did today that is the cause of it. Now, depending on the cycle of that cause and effect, like if I punch you in the face, you might punch me back. That's a pretty quick cycle. However, if I was going about and cheating on examinations 20, 30 years ago, could that impact me now today? Well, yes. How's my consciousness? How's my conscious around that? Do I feel? Is there guilt? Is there shame? that still resonate in me? Now, what does that guilt and shame attract in the future? Very interesting thinking. So we've been given some opportunity to create an amazing life moving forward. So if you're just tuning in, my name is Dr. Kevin. We have Transformation Tuesday every Tuesday at 5 p.m. this channel. We talk about consciousness. We talk about life transformation. We talk about personal growth. We talk about mind, body, spirit, soul awareness. And today's transmission has been about rightuse, how we go about moving forward, attaining our targets, attaining our goals, or even letting go of people in our life. How we go about these things makes a difference. And I'm hoping that you're using integrity, you're using honesty, you're using truth. And one of the things I'm waking up to personally is we don't have to give everyone all the truth all the time, all the honesty all the time. Just like when you're meeting somebody new, you let them in on pieces of who you are. But can you be vulnerable at the end of the day with the people closest to you? If you can't, well then there's some work with yourself, there's some work with them, or perhaps that's not the right relationship for you. I'm going to say those type of things. So if you have any questions, if you have any considerations, please let me know. Send me a message. I'll hook you up with the right information. I'll point you to people that I look to for advice, for information, for resources. Some of the biggest challenges in the world today is finding truthful and authentic information that's actually aligned with who you are. I highly recommend you seeking for more truth out there, because it may be harder to find. So get those people in your life that you trust, that you respect, that have had success in their life, where you want to have success. Surround yourself with them. That's what I've done. I've set my vision for what I want in life. Now, how I got to these visions, how I got to accomplishing and achieving and manifesting these decisions, well, that was a rocky, twisty, turny road, and I could never predict how it went. However, I would never give it up. I would never turn those things. I would never change those circumstances, even though some of them were very traumatic. They gave me something. They taught me something. I benefited from it. So blessings and best regards. Peace to you on your journey. I hope that you have a great life moving forward. Blessings and best regards. I'll see you next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Transformation Tuesday. I'm Dr. Kevin, drkeving.com. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now. Adios.